Hola a todos, bienvenidos al stream. Hoy veo que esto está aquí un poquito movido. Esperen un momentito que lo arregle. Ay. Hola a todos. Uy, cuánta gente hay aquí. Hola Gato, hola Josué, hola Kira, hola Líder, hola Solde. Uy, perdón con el modelo, es que tengo la luz aquí apagada. Y no me está viendo bien la cara. A ver si. Mi gato. Estoy aquí con la linterna puesta del móvil. Déjala ahí. Es que quiero que haya un poco de luz, pero no quiero que haya demasiado. Bueno, no me está reconociendo muy bien la cara. Uy, se cae. A ver. Ay, se cae. Bueno, así sirve. Uy, me está alumbrando el ojo. El señor de la voz al fin. Bueno, vamos a poner. Ha pasado unos cuantos minutos desde que estaba preparando esto. Ya me ha comentado alguien de una comisión, pero todavía no sé porque me ha preguntado muchas cosas, le estaba respondiendo, por eso terminó. ¿Qué me está diciendo? Hola, Duber, mi nuevo stream. Vale, no me esperaba eso, qué bueno, qué gracioso. Bueno, vamos a ver aquí. Ay, ahora se me ha abierto lo otro. No se escucha nada, ¿verdad? Es que yo tampoco estoy escuchando nada. También digo que estaba preparando el stream y de repente me ha sonado un sonido como auto fuerte en el oído y me pega un susto. Me pasó a saludar solo, que os vaya bien en el stream. Ok, gracias líder por pasarte, nos vemos la siguiente. Sí, es que creo que porque es la pantalla de carga. Oh. Vale, ahora sí.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on the desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
Subirle un poco más el volumen, lo
This is
escucho
what
demasiado bajito.
employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-whipping, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
Ah, es Stanley Parable 2.
Something he would never quite forget.
No.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for a long distance. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ah, me han dado un logro. Ahora es muy tarde para comprar comida, ¿eh? Mira, claro.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Es poco ordenado. Oye, el teléfono. A ver qué más hay. Hola, bienvenido al stream. Ah, perdón, es que es tarde ya, es de noche, entonces. Tú ves, te voy a reventar. Sí, también tengo un cumpleaños. Me acaban de invitar a un cumpleaños del cubo.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
El cubo.
Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket.
Le puedo dar un cubazo a alguien en la cabeza.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Ok, le voy a hacer caso porque me cae bien. Aunque en el Miss Fortune nos intentó matar, pero bueno. Ah, es verdad, porque ya no se puede saltar. Había un sitio en el que podía saltar, pero ahora no se puede. Está distinto, me parece a mí. Sí, supongo que porque hemos conseguido un par de cosas ya. Porque hemos entrado a la escuela. Una habitación grande con muchas cajas. Escalera, algo que tiene que ver con las escaleras. Un sitio rojo y azul. Un lugar privado que apesta, pero no hay persona importante. Bueno, pues vamos a ver si encontramos algo. A ver. Ah, eso es lo coleccionable, pero es que me da mucha pereza. Thank you, good luck. No me dice nada.
Can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
No.
You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy is as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Qué depresivo, ¿eh? Ay, no lo puedo leer. Uy, no lo puedo leer, además es chiquito. Es que aquí ya hemos pasado, creo. Este final ya lo hicimos, ¿verdad? No sé si entra por aquí. Es que esto es lo del bucle, no quiero lo del bucle, pero es rojo y azul. ¿Será esto? ¿Entro o no entro? ¿Qué hacemos, chicos? ¿Entramos o no entramos? Es rojo y azul. ¿Qué hacemos? ¿Entramos o no entramos? O sea, vamos para arriba. ¿Qué hacemos? Sí, pero pone de encontrar un lugar que sea rojo y azul. Vamos para arriba a ir, si no, la siguiente vemos. Uy, me ha lagueado. Está todo cerrado. Y también el rojo.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Sí, soy la coleccionista. Vamos a ir por aquí a ver que encontramos un piano.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Bucket.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light
Mira,
pierce
está
the
el
dark
icono,
clouds of
el juego.
confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Toma.
Was it that the bucket knew all along?
No veo
Was the
nada.
bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Aquí no hay nada. Me escondo. Abajo. Cargando. A ver si encontramos algo nuevo. Jijijiji.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Vamos para allá. Uy, qué susto. ¿O se puede subir para otra vez? Adiós.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very interesting about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again.
Sí soy. Sí soy. Ay, ya no hay botón, han quitado los botones. Hasta aquí va el ciego. Ahora aquí. ¿Se habrá abierto algo?
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took
Vale.
the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectant.
¿Cuál era el código? No me acuerdo ya. Era que terminaba en 45, pero
who had always felt such a connection with the bucket.
no me
How
acuerdo.
was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
¿Habrá algún otro código o algo que se pueda poner? Quiero ver si hay algún otro código. Voy a meterme en la guía de excursiones y todo esto. A ver. ¿Habrá algún código extra? Hay un ordenador que... fíjate, aquí hay una cosa bastante guay. Eso no lo había hecho, creo. Es verdad que no he hecho, Entiendo aquí cosas, no tengo ni idea de qué es todo esto. ¿Qué es esto? The Monitor Room. Eso tengo que verlo también. Hay muchas cosas que están interesantes, la verdad. Aparte que no hay ningún código extra, pero... No, que parece que no hay, pero podemos volver después con el... Hay cosas chulas que no había visto.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
Sí soy. Hay un mosquito, toda mi casa llena de mosquitos. Se cambió spoiler. No, no exactamente.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Así por aquí no hemos venido, ¿verdad? Porque quiero ver una cosa, espérate, no, aquí no era. O sea, aquí, espera un momentito, por favor. Quiero hacer este porque no sé cómo se hace. A ver... Se me ha cerrado la puerta. Bueno.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
A ver, vale. Pero voy a ver si sale.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Vale, a ver.
Was the bucket under the mind control
Vale,
facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Vale, pues hay que esperar, dice como un minuto por aquí y se abrirán las puertas de aquí atrás. Vamos a ver si es verdad. Y mientras tanto voy a ver qué otras cositas hay por aquí. Porque había muchas cositas para hacer, según estoy viendo. Tengo que ver la puerta 430. Ah, mira, se ha abierto. Oye, hay un dedo que está ahí que tiene error. A ver. La cosa más tonta que hay, tío. Pero bueno. La puerta está así de cerrada, ya tengo que salir para adelante, sí o sí, creo. Pero está muy gracioso, eso sí, Me pregunto si va infinitamente. Una caja. Vamos para allá. No te escucho con la música. Se nos va la fiesta, no. No veo nada.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy.
Yo recuerdo que aquí había más finales. Pero no sé cómo se conseguían. A ver.
The cold reality of his past began to sink in. Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
A ver, este no sé si se puede conseguir.
Would dismantle the controls for good.
Todavía creo que intenté y no pude, no sé si se puede.
Up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
A ver. Este no. Tampoco si se puede hacer porque es que hay una cosa que es que ya no se puede saltar en el juego. Antes sí se podía. Había otro final.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their
¿Cómo se
obligation
consigue al
to
final
put an
ese?
end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Había una forma, había un final distinto, pero no recuerdo cómo era. Era cuando los dados se cabreaban mucho, pero tenía que ver con más, no me acuerdo el que era. Era aquí. Tenía que ver con los botones estos, pero no sé el que era. Alguien me está mandando un mensaje de móvil. Me están mandando mensajes en el móvil. Uy. Pero bueno. Uy. De repente. Pues conseguimos ya el que le puse... Que no. No sé qué he hecho. No sé si le he dado el que tenía que darle uno, pero bueno. Oye, ¿qué está pasando de repente?
Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
Oh, ¿qué pasó? Se ha cortado solo.
What? Wait, what was happening?
Oh.
Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Ah, esto era.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face.
Oh no.
This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
No.
No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms.
Fuck
Not
you.
while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket.
Fuck
To be
you.
trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
No, es mío. Es mío. Pero hay una cosa que no sé si tengo que reiniciar el juego. Soy diálogo porque sí, pero bueno. Hay una cosa que no sé si tengo que reiniciar el juego entero o simplemente con empezar uno nuevo sirve. Era el 30%.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
¿Dónde está?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace
Era
of
este
his
el que necesito
co-workers.
subir. A ver. Es que no sé si se puede hacer ya. Ese sé que se podía en el original, pero no sé si se puede ya. A ver. Un momentito que mire cuál es. 434. Sí, este. Ah. Adiós.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like, right now. You could have done it just there. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton.
Sí soy.
Did it all day in a meaningful way. But his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
Maravilloso. No es infinito. Es imposible que esto sea infinito. Creo que es infinito. Vale, vamos a ver. Ahora quiero hacer otro. Que hay uno que en verdad es bastante depresivo, sinceramente. Pero me han quitado mi cosa esta. ¿Dónde está ya?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked,
Que sí, que
he
ya lo
couldn't
sé.
find a trace of his co-workers.
¡Ah! Está aquí. Quiero hacer una cosa. ¿Qué puerta era? Creo que tengo que volver atrás. Creo que era esta.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement?
Sí, soy.
Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Está muy aburrido.
I'm still not feeling it. You see, now that you've gotten the bucket involved, my standards have gone up. Merely clicking a single door is no longer enough. Now, I want to see you press this bucket against multiple doors. Now that's the kind of thing that merits an achievement. Why don't you put 20 bucket touches into door 417?
417.
Okay, great. Now, go touch the bucket on door 437 a few times.
Todo esto por un logro. Tío. 37 ha dicho, ¿no? Esta.
Yes, now we're getting somewhere. How about door 415? Give it some bucket love.
La 15, ¿dónde está la 15? Aquí.
Now back to door number 437.
A 37. ¿Dónde la 37? Ah, otra vez aquí.
You know, I think the copy machine needs some attention. Why don't you rub the bucket on it a bit? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, now bring the bucket on top of employee 419's desk.
No me deja.
Yes, this is great. Now the bucket knows exactly what it's like to be employee 419. Now, let's introduce it to door 416.
Ok.
We've almost got it. Now make the bucket and the copy machine touch again.
Suena fanfic.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 touches of the bucket on door 430. Yes! We did it! That felt amazing. You know, not all buckets will get this kind of experience. They won't all know what it's like to slam repeatedly against nearly every door in one section of an office building, or what it's like to be employee 419. Buckets may dream of an experience like this, but few can say they've truly lived it. You've given a bucket hope today. Stanley, I'm very proud of you.
Maravilloso. Ahora tenemos que ir para la derecha. Lo puedo dejar en su sitio otra vez. Ya no lo puedo dejar, bueno. Lo llevo conmigo. De todas formas no voy a llegar a la parte de atrás.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Creo que no hemos venido por aquí.
No, said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room.
Aquí.
Go somewhere else.
A ver.
The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Mejor.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Ya
It should
verá.
have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Parkour. Parkour.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley,
Sí que daño de caída.
bring the bucket here. Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point.
Es lo que me está
if that's
diciendo.
true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have
Me voy a
dire
tirar.
consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly.
No me deja salir.
So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket.
Hola, ¿puedo subir la
Please,
escalera?
step in here for a moment.
Esto es nuevo. Esto es nuevo. Yo iba a hacer otro distinto, otro final distinto, pero... ¿Qué esto?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Deberíamos decirlo bien o mal.
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Maravilloso. A ver,
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
a ver, ¿me puedo acercar? No me dejas que me acerque para ver. Tampoco.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Y digo, no tiene sentido.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Bueno.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Sí, no sé por qué no.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Me se enfada.
Is this a bucket?
Sí.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Así porque sí, sin explicación.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
No me quites de mío que te reviento.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Sí.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
He borrado el juego.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person. All right, here we go.
Otra vez. Y si hay daño de caída.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Vale,
Perhaps he
no lo
had
voy a
simply
coger
missed a
porque
memo.
quiero hacer otra cosa. Quiero hacer un final.
When Stanley came to a
hecho.
set of two open doors,
Aunque eso está
this was
raro.
not the correct way to the meeting room,
Qué susto.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yo estoy intentando hacer un final
Perhaps he
y
wanted to stop
y
by the
me
employee
mando por
lounge
otro
first,
sitio.
just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off
Si
on
me
the
tiro
wrong
por aquí
foot
me
here.
mato.
I'm not your enemy, really.
Veo que
I'm
ahí
not.
para hacer parkour,
I
¿eh?
realize that investing in your
Hay una
trust in someone
figura.
else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about
Hay una
nothing
figura, lo
but you
estoy viendo.
all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are
No
you
que me
that
mato,
convinced
pero
that I want something
después,
bad to happen to you?
Vuelvo.
Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Vale, la puerta roja. Ok.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time?
Esto es un final
The
bastante
problem is all
triste,
these
aviso.
choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yeah. Oh,
La droga.
it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel
La
happy.
droga.
I actually feel happy.
Desafortunadamente este final es como súper depresivo.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Me da mucha pena, tío. No tiene brillito.
Right. Where were we?
Es que a mí me pilla con los brillitos. Con los brillitos a mí me pilla yo el TDA. El autismo, las dos cosas. Desafortunadamente.
Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God. You lived. No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Van a seguir los finales.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room.
Ay, es que me da mucha penita. Me da mucha penita, tío. Me da mucha penita.
Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Viejito. Vamos a hacer la votación. Votación. Me parto las piernas. A ver. Ahí tenéis. Tenéis. Vota, que un minuto solo, venga, a darse prisa. Pero ¿por qué? Tiene que haber puesto lo de voto extra. Solo tiene razón. ¿Cómo que solo tiene razón? Terrible. Ay, brillito. Qué bonito lo de peto, en verdad. Uy, me da calofrío. Creo que nos vamos a partir las piernas. Me da mucha penita el señor, pero... me va a odiar.
No, perhaps not.
Ay, pobrecito. Ahora ando más despacio. Me dio 1 metro. Y me parto por la mitad, me quedan 75.
Is this really how much you dislike my game?
No, de
You'll throw
revés.
yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally
No.
willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I
No.
reading the situation correctly?
No, señor, yo te quiero mucho.
Well, maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along.
Ay,
But I guess
pobrecito.
that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Ay, pobrecito. Pobrecito. Pobrecito, tío.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Ay, pobrecito. Ay, me da mucha penita. Ay. Yo lo quiero mucho, señor.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley
sí, que ya lo sé,
he
que estoy
couldn't find a
buscando.
trace of his co-workers.
Estoy buscando un ordenador este. Ahí está, me faltan 3 más. Vale, ahora quiero probar otra cosa distinta. Aquí.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Es que aquí hay un truco, pero no sé cómo. En plan, es para que se cierre la puerta, pero... ¡No! Me salió mal. Bueno. Siempre hay cosas que se pueden intentar. Vamos a ver aquí. He conseguido otros finales ya. Me queda una habitación con muchas cajas y un lugar rojo y azul. Aquí no llevo el sello. Vamos a
Coming
probar
to a
esto de abajo.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed
Supongo que sería
everyone
distinto
had
si
vanished.
llevara al
His
otro.
boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Vale, creo
All
que
of my
termino al final. No veo nada distinto, así que... A ver, ¿qué más? El del bebé no lo voy a hacer porque es horrible. A ver, había
All
varios...
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard
Qué
Stanley
pesado,
looked,
que ya lo
he
sé, que estoy
couldn't
mirando
find
por
a
la ventana.
trace of his co-workers. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No se cierra.
This was not
No.
the correct way to the meeting
No me
room,
puedo.
and Stanley knew it perfectly
No sé cómo se
well.
hace eso.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
A lo
The
mejor me
lounge
estoy
was
equivocando
sublime,
y es la otra
a work of
puerta
art,
o algo, no lo
but
sé.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on
No,
his
quiero
left.
coger la figurita.
Stanley was so bad at following
Quiero la
directions, it's
figurita.
incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ahora voy para allá. Que me mato aquí, que se me da muy mal el parkour a mí.
You're getting close now, Stanley.
Yeah.
You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one. And then the first number will equal the second number. And that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
Me cambiando de nombre cada vez. No me quiero matar. A ver, quiero ir por aquí. ¿Qué hay aquí? ¿Qué hay aquí? Esto es nuevo. ¿Dónde estoy?
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path
La
that
caja.
soon the office had begun.
was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path.
No, señor narrador.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was
Era una de las
all
cosas
just
que
in
hay que buscar.
Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do.
Zero.
I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Oye, que tocaba algo. Tocaba algo. Pues nada.
All of his co-workers
Me
were gone.
falta el rojo y
What did it
azul.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
A ver, creo que a lo mejor esta.
When Stanley
No.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Se quita la
This was
textura.
not
No,
the
no
correct
puedo.
way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the
Vale, tengo otra
first
cosa
open
por ahí.
door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible
subir
he
allá
wasn't
arriba.
5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think
También
perhaps we've
podríamos
gotten off on
ir
the
a
wrong
la
foot
puerta
here.
azul,
I'm
pero
not your
no,
enemy,
a
I
lo
really
mejor
am
después.
not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you
¿No se podrá bajar? No, te
Please,
mata.
Stop trying to
¿Quiere
make
que me
every
mate?
decision by yourself.
Eso es lo que
Now,
quiere
I'm
Gato.
not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Por her. Todavía me puedo tirar. Pero...
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Ahora lo hago. Ahora lo hago. Nos están esperando, gato. Hoy.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Me pregunto si pasa algo si no cojo el teléfono. Ay,
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a
este
second.
final me gustaba
Did
mucho.
I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choice. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
¿Cómo te va a pelear con un bichoso?
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been.
Nana, don't bite.
This way, please.
But do you stop? I don't bite. Mira, me han puesto rejilla.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Todavía me puedo tirar. No me puedo tirar, me han tirado. Me quita la caja. Malditos sean. Bueno, vámonos para allá. Se me cierran las puertas. I don't bite.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Home free. Quiero intentar buguearlo, pero
Now remember,
no me deja.
all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No me dice nada.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Es que por aquí no se puede pasar. Y si me dan la oportunidad. Ahí esto no cambia.
No, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work.
Perdón.
Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever.
Y no
I
como
can't
subí.
live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work?
No, que hay una puerta ahí.
What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I
Hay una puerta.
No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
Ah, no me deja
I
subir.
have to.
Oh no. Ay, que no me ha dejado. Quería buguear para entrar, pero no puedo. Hola.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here in this pile of rubbish, with you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley?
Perdón.
He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Sí soy.
Oh,
Literalmente
my
lo que soy.
story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make it behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok. Ok.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to the staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No hay. Me falta una figurita. ¡Ah! Y distinta.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability,
No
he
puedo
knew the
hablar.
passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark
No sé dónde está
115.
el manto del
Was this
aire.
the code to
Quiero
open the
apagar.
door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find
¿Dónde
out.
está el manto del aire?
Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Pero que no puedo hablar, que soy mudo. Que soy mudo. No puedo hablar.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
No puedo hablar.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
No puedo hablar.
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He
Kung
knows
Fu
what it
Panda.
means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You...
Que no puedo hablar.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Hola.
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything.
Mi pobrecito.
This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you there? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Se ha quedado. Se ha quedado. Hola. Oh. Bueno, entre todas las cosas muy raras que he visto, que sepáis que yo he visto fanarts. He visto fanarts de gente que si vea a
Wait, Stanley
narrador
thought to himself.
y
Am I
al
sure that
Stanley.
the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
Lo he visto todo. Me llevo cu.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Stanley clutched the
Quiero ver.
bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door
No.
on his left.
Déjame. Déjame. No. No. No he podido. Lo he intentado. En fin. A ver, ¿qué me queda? Me sigue quedando un sitio rojo y azul. Cerran la puerta a lo mejor. Tengo que haber ido por otro lado. Vamos a ver si por este lado encontramos algo más. A ver, mejor si hay algo aquí con el cubo.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. Now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends, that your relationship is purely superficial and convenient, that your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner. Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
No puedo
Okay,
hacer nada.
I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There.
Es
Now
mío.
it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take our hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of
Mío.
things.
Gracias. Gracias. Es
All
mío.
right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it would...
Coming to a staircase,
No, lo cortaba
Stanley
el
and the
diálogo.
bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Qué triste estoy de cortar diálogo. Lo quiero mucho este señor, yo lo quiero mucho. A ver, también había un final aquí que podía... Las puertas de este juego me odian.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation,
Se ha enfadado conmigo. Ahora me siento mal que me había dado tuto. Me siento mal. El instinto de completionista. Me siento mal, la verdad. Que me ha dado la pegatina y todo. Puedo volver atrás. A ver. Me vuelvo a mi casa. Se enfada, ya no me quiere hablar.
No, the orders were still missing. For now.
Los sitios azul y rojo no se dan a la puerta. Lo he dicho antes, sí. Creo que sí, pero es por el otro lado y me he equivocado de puerta. No sé para dónde ir porque creo que no me deja ir para abajo. O si me deja ir para abajo. Es que estoy ciega nada. Ah, se ha cerrado. Pues no me deja ir para abajo. ¿Y qué puedo hacer? ¿Me tengo que cerrar la habitación o algo? Perdóneme, señor, ha sido sin querer. Ha sido sin querer. Así yo quería venir aquí. Eso me hacía falta. Ha sido sin querer. ¿Me perdona? Todo sucio, qué guarro, no limpia. Vamos otra vez.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
Queda
meeting
uno.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Stanley picked up the bucket and
Se
smiled.
queda el ticket
He'd never be
mío.
alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
El mío.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No se cierra.
This was not
No,
the correct
no
way to
puedo.
the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. how insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Cada vez hay más pasos, es cosa mía.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Puerta roja y azul.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the Good, said the bucket.
Aquí.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
No.
Stanley did not question why or
Ay,
how
lo
his
voy
bucket was
ahí lo
speaking.
voy arriba,
It should have
arriba.
alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
No, me he tirado. Aquello tú no lo haces. Tu. Ay, no, yo entonces me va a decir que no puedo pasar con él o algo seguro.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you...
Terrible. Terrible. Me tenía que decir eso. Lo bueno es que ahora debería... Así está.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
Sí, estaba viendo que te pueden salir que creo que 4 cosas distintas aquí. Vale, me falta un ordenador que no sé cuál es. No sé cuál es el ordenador que me falta.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the
No
correct
puedo.
way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic. Perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Perdón, es que soy léxica.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone
Creo que
else
no,
can
creo que
be
hay que
difficult,
seguir en plan
but
que
the fact
esperar.
is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Es para
There's
acá
someone
adelante.
you've been neglecting,
¿O
Stanley.
no?
Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop.
What? Really?
No me
I
acuerdo.
was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something
Creo que
beautiful.
ahí.
Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This
Aita.
is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Y ahí me dormí. Vamos para la sub.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley.
You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Vamos. Oh.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Nicho Nacho. Y soy la última. Wow. Pero bueno. Wow, me están matando.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
La verdad que no.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on,
cambiar
and now
de-
would be a lovely opportunity to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
Vamos.
Perfect. Let me boot it up.
El del bebé.
In this game,
Lo
the
sabía.
baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the
Para
desperation and tedium
pasarse,
of endlessly
dejo. Hay
confronting
que
the demands
estarse
of
llorando dándole
life.
el botón
I think
todo
the
el rato.
world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for you. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
No vamos a aportar. No vamos a aportar. Vamos, si recuerdo bien. Nunca he jugado a Porta tampoco, te digo, así que... Ah, no.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our
Está muy
motivation?
fuerte.
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creepdom. Perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Vamos. En Minecraft en 3D. ¿Qué es eso? Ahí da la vuelta, bueno. Mira por otro lado. Vamos.
Oh no, it can't be.
Mira, chicos, ¿sabéis que esto? ¿Sabéis que esto lo habéis visto alguna vez? Mira, ¿lo habéis visto alguna vez?
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
No.
Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
No te madre el autobús que me banea Twitch.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
A ver.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must.
A ver, la pelota.
Here's the ball. Have fun.
Voilà. Vamos. Sí soy. Es que no puedo saltar.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought, and I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
Espera que quiero más caco.
Yes. Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable.
No, quiero poner caco. Ay, se me escapa. Ala. Quiero más caco. A ver, más caco con este. Toma.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real
Are you having fun, son?
Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over.
No.
That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you.
La hierba sube, me gusta el color.
Video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I am structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much.
¿Me puedo tirar?
You're an Hold on. What are you doing?
tirado.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Oh, me mató. Oh. Se mató Paco. Mira las backrooms. Miren, mete en las backrooms. A mirar las dos puertas. ¡Oh! A ver. No sé qué tengo que hacer aquí. Oh, pues ya está.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Uy. Ay. Que no me dice nada del modelo, que se ha bugueado. Ahí está. No me decís nada, por favor. Pues todos esos finales son... En general son todos los que estaban desde el principio, así que... Ok, pero bueno, nos vamos a dejar por aquí. Falta un ordenador que hay que ponerle un número. Y no sé cuál es. A ver. Ah, pone que es... A ver, espera. No me sale. A ver, espera un momento. A ver, con esto no sale. Se supone que era ese, pero... ¿Por qué no me habla?
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figlets. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Estamos en Dragón y Mazmorra. En Memory Zone. Aquí estuvimos ya, Aquí.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Mami.
And here was the second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own just by poking around behind the boss's office. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
Fue este primero, porque la conseguí una después de otra.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
No sé yo eso,
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
¿Qué está pasando? Me gusta la habitación. ¡Ah! Tiene musiquita. Y es rosa. Me gusta esta habitación, me quedo aquí. Así quiero que sea mi casa, ya viví en casa de la Barbie. Qué bonito. Aquí me quedo a vivir. Está muy bonito. Titi.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
A ver. La verdad, madre mía. Del Movie Maker, el Windows Movie Maker, tío. Buenísimo, qué bueno.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8
de
minutes I
años.
wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Qué grande sí, A ver.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Oh. Ah, la misma sala, esta vez.
And then there was no more. because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Oh. Maravilloso.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels. Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more.
Luego soy yo la vicia,
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
No.
Yes, I love that video.
Vamos a la sala rosa.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Me gusta esta sala.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one. This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh, estamos aquí.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything.
No.
In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Creo que este señor no está bien,
Oh, yes. The two doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley?
Tiene la misma que tiene el mismo modelo.
Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companions.
Sí, es que este modelo
And Stanley
personalizable.
really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old.
Ay, me pasaron una foto, una captura de una chica que tenía ropita negra, no sé si será ella. Llevaba pelo cortito, la versión de pelo cortito
I'll
también.
take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once. and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling this story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the
No
story
la he llegado a
of
ver
a man
nunca,
named
pero me
Stanley.
pasaron una captura de ella. Está guay, porque el modelo está muy bonito, la verdad. Algún día me gustaría tener el mío propio. Lo estoy dibujando yo, pero pues lleva mucho tiempo. Ahí está. Ay. Muy temprano. Uy. Botones. Sí, yo llevo un tiempo trabajando en el mío propio. Ahí se van reseteando, creo que todo es infinito. Pero sí, está muy bonito el modelo este. Se está bugueando un poco, creo. Yo la verdad es que no suelo ver muchas VTubers, no suelo ver muchos streamers en general. Para porque no tengo tiempo, no tengo la paciencia para estar sentada mirando cosas así. Es una pena. Pero me cuesta mucho. Pero bueno. Esto que yo sepa es infinito. Sí, este es uno de los pocos finales que tienes que resetear tú mismo, porque pagan siempre. Pues sí, me lo pasan, me pasan el usuario y la podría ver otro día, sí. A ver, estoy aquí viendo, ya es tardecito, son las 12:30, mañana tengo clase, así que me tengo que ir a mimir ya. Gracias a todos por venir. Vale, gato. Muchas gracias a todos por venir y nos vemos a la próxima. Adiós.